let's see. All right, so OBS changed some things on me. Streaming to YouTube got a little bit different, but I figured it out just in time. Thank you, everybody, coming over from Son of a Tech. First, let me get some introductions in case you don't know me. My name is EVGA. My channel is called SerpentX Tech. We go over cryptocurrency, crypto mining, but it's not just cryptocurrency. I also do tech reviews, accessories, teardowns, the whole 9 yards. Kind of like a mix between Son of a Tech, Bits Be Trippin', and Gamers Nexus. As you can see, I'm a Gamers Nexus fan. Steve Burke actually helped me out in a number of different ways. So anyways, I was gone. I was MIA this weekend, and boy, did you guys have fun. What the hell happened? So right now we're green, but we dropped down pretty dramatically. I was actually off down the road watching Travis Pastrana, Scott Speed, Tanner Faust, a lot of the drivers that I enjoy to watch rally racing in Nitro Rally. And of course, the weekend that I go out there to try to, spend some of this hard-earned cryptocurrency on purchases like shirts or merchandise, the market tanks. So of course, I didn't use any of my crypto to cover any of my purchases, which is quite unfortunate. But thank goodness I bought the tickets prior during the recent, all-time high, I guess you could say. And you can see we dropped down pretty dramatically. So we got a few things going on today. I'm going to check chat, try to engage with you as best I can. I missed my episode of Caffeine and Crypto, which is what I do every Saturday around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But today is just pretty much kind of like an open book. Talk about a few things, engage with you, and see how things go. Yes, I shaved my head. And yes, I'm getting old because you can see a receding hairline. For all the people that hate, go hate somewhere else. Anyways, moving on. Let's see what the chat's saying. What's up, Paul? Son of a Tech, really appreciate you. Let me know if you find out anything different about the PPLNS. I'm interested to see what you and your research finds. But yeah, it changes every round from my understanding. And obviously rewards users that stay on that pool. But we'll see how it goes. 3 Fox, thank you for stopping by. Magic Lucky. Nos Daddy. You know what? Is it Nos like nitrous that you use in your car, or NOS energy drink? Because I like both, so I'm kind of liking your name right now. Please smash the like button. All right, Jeffrey Harrison. By the way, anybody that's new to the channel, I do have a members section. Obviously, pay your bills, take care of your family, do what you need to do. But if you do sign up, every once in a blue moon, I actually give away or select a member that joins the channel and give them some Bitcoin. The next selection should be coming up this weekend on Caffeine and Crypto, where I will announce the winner. But yeah, just another perk, by the way, is the membership. You also get access to the Discord. Yes, it's behind a paywall because there's so many bots. But what is it? Galax and GPU drops are in my Discord as well. And if you keep an eye on Galax, it looks like something dropped earlier. I think it was a 2070 Mini. But, yeah, keep an eye on the stock drops inside the Discord. We might get some more coming in the future. But, yeah, there was a 2070 Mini that dropped. And you can see it's not on the product page now. But it did drop. And, obviously, people checked out really quick. And there's some news about bots and stuff like that. The bots that have been screwing us and kind of taking all the GPUs for themselves and gaming consoles that we're going to talk about here in just a moment. So bear with me. Thank you for everybody hanging out. Let's get into the news. So Didi's delisting could spell the end of Chinese stock on Wall Street. China's Didi, not to be confused with P. Diddy, that's a joke by the way, announced Friday that it will immediately start the process of delisting the New York Stock Exchange and pivot to Hong Kong, coming just months after the ride-hailing giant Wall Street debut. The news sends a clear signal to investors as tensions between Washington and Beijing generate uncertainty. Shortly after this $4.4 billion initial public offering, or IPO, in the United States in late June, Chinese regulators banned Didi from the app stores in China, saying it broke data privacy laws and posed cybersecurity risk. Its share price obviously collapsed with this news. The decision to target Didi was widely seen as punishment for its decision to go public overseas, and the company became a prime example of China's effort to curb the power of big tech firms. By the way, real quick, if you're trying to get my attention, you need to at me or super chat me. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going. I will try to engage and answer any questions in the future. I'm just trying to keep this short because I am technically working. So Thank you for bearing with me. So yeah, anyways, you know, the stock market situation, why is this relevant to crypto? Well, obviously what happens in the stocks does impact crypto, right? And I told everybody in the past Caffeines and Crypto that to prepare themselves, because I always see around Thanksgiving and Christmas the market tank. Why? Well, you got to think about it. There's I forgot what the tax term is, but basically people are able, like say you have a stock that made you $10,000 in profit and then another stock that lost you $10,000. There's a term that they use. I forgot what they call it, but you can basically use that to offset the tax on each other. And you're going to be moving funds, you know, left and right. They might take some profits on Shiba Inu to cover the losses that they made for XYZ. I don't know the full tax terminology for it, but I know for a fact that every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, usually the market tanks. And when the stock market tanks, a lot of these retail investors and honestly institutions that are in the stock market are also in cryptocurrency. So of course, people are going to, you know, manage their funds and try to move some things around. So obviously that brought us down, but today was a green day. Today we're looking a lot better. I mean, from the all-time high to where we fell to 42K, that was a 40% dump. And it looks like if we measure from where we were at that 42K level to where we are now, we went up already 20%. So we negated 20% of that dip, which is really good. OBS is really throwing me off here. I got 2 chat windows. Let me know if any audio or video issues are happening, because I didn't know that OBS changed that because I wasn't here. All right, everybody's looking good. All right, coolio. So moving on, SEC moves to a step closer to delisting Chinese companies in the U.S. There's a reason for this, and there's a reason why this is should be on your radar. As a crypto miner, as a crypto trader, as a crypto entrepreneur, enthusiast, whatever, venture capitalist, whatever you want to call yourself, if you're in the crypto space, keeping an eye on what happens in the stock market, especially in you know, when it goes to the SEC, Congress, any regulation, stuff like that. We really need to keep our eyes open on this. So the U.S. government is inching further on efforts to boot Chinese companies off the American stock exchanges for not complying with Washington's disclosure requirements. The Security Exchange Commission, or SEC, on Thursday announced its final plan for putting in place a new law that mandates foreign companies open their books to the U.S. scrutiny or risk being kicked off the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ within 3 years. China and Hong Kong are the only 2 jurisdictions that refuse to allow inspections, despite Washington requiring them since 2002. So since 2002, China has been allowing their companies, or Chinese companies have been utilizing the foreign markets like ours to really not pump and dump, but as you would see here, take advantage of all the investors that are pumping all this money into it. And then sometimes those companies, just like a pump and dump scam or situations that we've seen with crypto, they'll do the exact same thing. They'll get their money and they dip out. The SEC new rule, which lays out how the regulator will identify companies subject to delisting and the procedure for kicking non-compliant firms off the exchange, is the latest development in a tussle between financial officials and the world's 2 biggest economies. While much of the recent tensions have been around the shell companies that Chinese firms use to list in the U.S., Thursday's regulation dates back decades. The rule gets the ball rolling on a process that could lead to more than 200 companies being kicked off the U.S. exchanges. China's refusal to let inspectors from the PCAOB review audits of the firms such as Alibaba Group Holdings, Baidu Inc., that trade on American exchanges have vexed U.S. regulators for more than a decade. The issue has gained urgency due to rising tensions between the 2 countries following the high-profile account scandal on Luckin Coffee Inc. Right, so this situation where, again, you open up in the U.S. market, a lot of investors running in, oh, it's a new stock, let's jump in, we're dumping millions in it, and then, you know, they're falsely reporting information, it's erroneous records, or erroneous records, and then next thing you know, it's not really profitable, they shut down, they delist, and then your money is gone. So China has taken steps in a bid to end the impasse. A top official of the Chinese Security Regulatory Commission said last month the regulator is working very hard to resolve the audit oversight issues with the U.S. counterparts. So what happens if this situation occurs? Well, not too much in the crypto sphere, but it could discourage, and I'll put some of these articles in the description if you're interested in reading further. I'll put some additional information on there as well, but it can discourage retail investment. It can discourage, institution investment, and it could honestly hurt the market as a whole, our stock market. So we got to keep an eye on this. And again, because the stock market could be impacted, that can also draw down on the cryptocurrency market. I still believe much of the cryptocurrency markets, at least the top coins, are going to be here to stay. And I do not in one bit, since I've been gone this weekend, was I discouraged at all. I was not worried in the least. This was just another buying opportunity to me, or an opportunity to mine, stack them sats, which I'll have a video out for you tomorrow. As I normally do, I release videos Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays if you're new to the channel. But this is just more opportunities for you to gain more exposure, gain more in. Obviously, if you're trading, don't invest more than you're willing to lose. If you're mining, just keep stacking them sats no matter what. So yeah. Anyways, let's check out the chat here. I got a few tags that I see. Taines, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Dude, MC, Group B rally? Yeah. Group B rally, dude, that was my era, man. I loved it. I freaking loved it. Well, it's not my era, but it was the era that I loved. All right, Magic Lucky, I believe the term is wash trading. I think there's a different term for it when they sell one stock at a profit to cover the other one at a loss. There's a different term that I heard it from, what's his name? The Millennial Money Kids, whatever those cats are called. I call them kids, but they're only a little bit younger than me. Dizzy Mining, see you later, man. Take it easy. Thank you for stopping by. All right, moving on with the rest of the news here. So Texas situation getting a little bit crazy because we got a lot of Bitcoin mining happening on Dayton, Texas. The city of Dayton is committing substantial electricity and land resources to chasing the invisible gold known as Bitcoin. I don't know why they give it such titles, invisible gold. But anyways, but it has not protected citizens like me against the monumental waste of electricity or extra pressure on the fragile Texas grid caused by this activity. And for months, the city officials left Daytonites in the dark about the sudden departure from substantial plans as an unnerving familiar feeling to those who have lived through the last years the winter blackouts. So when the winter blackouts happened in Texas, because much of Texas provides its own power, and realistically we only have three in the North America area. We only have three main power grids, and this affects you Canadians too. We got the Eastern, we got the Central, and we got the Western. But Texas provides its own power, at least much of it. And last year we obviously had that winter situation where the power went out and a lot of people were freezing pretty badly, actually. So currently 135,000 residents in the city of Dayton need about 275 megawatts of electricity generating capacity at peak load. A new purchase power agreement between the local utility Dayton Municipal Electric and cryptocurrency miner Course Scientific would double the capacity demand over the life of a 7-year contract. So increased demand. We got a lot of people coming from China over to the States, taking advantage of some opportunities, some places that might offer power for cheaper, or that are at least welcoming miners, maybe taking over all old warehouses or buildings, which we'll get into in just a moment on a different article. So Antonio here, the general manager of Dayton Electric, let's just call it Dayton Electric, says the deal, which will see Core Scientific build its data center on 13 acres near the Dayton airport, is a good one for the Daytonites. What a weird name. The extra electricity consumption will be phased in over a 7-year life of contract, he noted, and that the power of the cryptocurrency mine will be interruptible or easily shut off in an emergency. So the plan is that if the power demand for the rest of the city hits a certain point, they can shut down power to the mining facilities to, of course, save that energy for the cities, the people that need to heat their homes, stay safe during the winter, whatever it may be. Electricity experts agree that Bitcoin mining is, in theory, one of the less stressful sources of new demand for the electrical grid, In certain situations, it could even alleviate stress. The question remains whether the Texas grid, which almost completely failed in February, should be subject to any extra stress at all. So the question is, and this article goes on, should, as a lot of people are pushing back, should they allow this to happen? Apparently, the added demand is actually a good thing for the electrical grid of Texas. But obviously, you're going to have a bunch of pushback, especially those who claim climate concerns and stuff like that. And I am a believer, and don't unsubscribe just because this. I am a believer in climate change, right? We as humans and what we're doing have an impact on climate to a certain extent. But that's a different topic for some other channel that I don't cover. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't think it's as big, Bitcoin mining or mining in general is as big of an impact as some people make it out to be, especially as these mining companies or facilities are looking for more renewable resources. All right, so Bitcoin miners say they're helping fix the broken Texas electrical grid. This is what I was talking about, where more demand would actually help out. I'll get to your questions in just a moment. After this article, we'll look through, make sure everything's good. But yeah, don't know. I don't like talking politics, and I don't like it talking about religion and football. That's how you end a conversation right there. That's how you break up a relationship. Anyways, the Texas power grid is struggling with fluctuating energy prices and sporadic service, but the state's growing Bitcoin mining community believes it can help fix it. Republican Senator Ted Cruz agrees a lot of the discussion around Bitcoin views Bitcoin as a consumer of energy, said Ted Cruz in October. The perspective that he's suggesting is very much the reverse, which is a way to strengthen our energy infrastructure. And we know we got, the president who did the infrastructure plan, and we got Congress and all the politicians working on that. We really do need to beef up our infrastructure, and I think by beefing up our infrastructure here in the U.S., not only could we help out our Canadian family, but we could also help out our Mexican brothers and sisters down south. So just beefing up, whether it's improving the roads, finding better means of transportation, greener means of transportation, EV or otherwise, solar, hydro, wind. There's a lot of benefits that the infrastructure plan that I'm hoping will bring to this country, but whether or not it's going to be used to build some other person some fancy place to live, I don't know. Anyways, the grid is called ERCOT, or stands for the Electric Reliable Council of Texas, which is the organizing task with operating it, and it's fussy and temperamental. ERCOT powers about 90% of the state. So most of Texas is powered by their own facility. But to run smoothly requires a perfect balance between supply and demand. Having too much power and not enough buyers is just as bad as having everyone wanting to fire up their AC units on the same day in July. Maintaining that balance has proven to be a real challenge this year, and Texans are feeling it. Crypto enthusiasts believe the fix to the problem is actually to add another electricity consumer into the mix. A buyer who will take such power, will take as much power they're given whatever time of day, and they're just willing to power it down with a few seconds notice. These flexible buyers are Bitcoin miners. So yeah, I was going to say, it's not like you want to flip the switch on a bunch of ASICs that are mining in your warehouse. Turning the main switch on and off often can actually damage your components, which is why much of us use surge breakers, which is why we all say shut down your rigs properly, then flip the power switch and start working on your mining rigs. You don't want to just keep having these power outages taking out most of your rigs that could short out your hardware. At the Texas Blockchain Summit in October, Cruz pointed out the ability of Bitcoin miners to turn their rigs on or off within seconds, a feature that is hugely beneficial during times when energy needs to be shifted back to the grid to meet demand. If you have a moment where you have a power shortage or power crisis, whether it's a freeze or other natural disaster where power generation capacity goes down, that creates the capacity to instantaneously shift that energy and put it back into the grid, which the Bitcoin miners have the ability to do so. But not everybody's convinced. We all know that. Miners are a strain on the grid, not a help, says a number of people. Climate concerns, yada, 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 all that good stuff. So whether or not Texas can find some middle ground to allow these Bitcoin miners to have their cake and eat it too, but also help out the electrical grid is something we're going to have to wait and see, because Texas is kind of like a little bit of an experiment. But they're not the only one. New York City also, because a lot of the hydroelectricity is becoming very sought after, right? So with Bitcoin mining kind of booming, right, the price hitting the all-time highs, and China closing down or banning Bitcoin, a lot of people are moving to the States, and they're looking for different areas in which they can do that. So one of them is a Bitcoin mining operation is opening northeast of Niagara Falls this month on the site of the last working coal plant in New York State. Across the state, a former aluminum plant, Messena, already one of the biggest cryptocurrency sites in the United States, is expanding. And in EVGA, a metal recycling Mongol with 11.3 million Instagram followers, is making a gritty startup with banks of computers in shipping containers next to the scrapyard. So that's very interesting. Can you imagine being the guy that's on site that deals with all the scrap and stuff like that, and you go up to your boss and you're like, hey boss, we got all these containers. Can we convert them into mining rigs and have like it right here next to us? That's very smart. I mean, if you got the land, you got the capacity, and you can get the electrical you need, that's very smart for that company to do that. So now they're dual purpose. Not only are they dealing with scrap metal, they can recycle all that good stuff, but they also have a mining operation. And that's actually an idea that I had. I would love to do this, but I need to find investment for it. My fiance works in the medical marijuana field, right? So she's I guess you could call it a wellness counselor, but she deals with working with people with any type of diseases, cancers, concerns, help them get their medical card, make sure that they're on a good regimen to help them out with their pain, whatever it is, sickness. So I would love to have a building where she can do what she loves, right? Help others through the use of medical marijuana or cannabis, CBDs, THCs, whatever it may be, and then in the background have my mining operation. I would love to do that. Just a little small storefront that might grow, but I think that would be hugely beneficial for both her and me. She can get she's already in the field, but she can get her own thing going while I'm in the background, managing the network, the mining hardware, whatever it may be. So that's one of the ideas I have. I just got to find institutional investment or some type of investment into doing that, but I got to make sure it's sound. I got to run it through a number of channels. So that's something that I would love to do, but we'll see if it ever comes into fruition. Anyways, moving on. In just a few years, the swath of northern and western New York has become one of the biggest Bitcoin producers in the country. The prospectors is this digital gold rush needs a lot of cheap electricity to run thousands of energy guzzling computer rigs. The area, and look at how beautiful this is. I mean, you got your little, this is like the hydro dam, right? So the water level goes all the way up top here. You can barely see it. Basically at the end of my picture on your screen, and then falls down, and then obviously that spins a turbine or what have you. Really, really beautiful. Built, I believe, 1897. Yeah, Victorian era turbine. So I mean, the turbine's a little bit old, but it still works. So the area, with its cheap hydroelectric power and abundance of shuttered power plants and old factories, was ripe for Bitcoin mining. The abandoned infrastructure, often with existing connections to the power grid, can readily be converted to Bitcoin mining. The companies say they are boosting local economies by bringing an industry back and creating crypto vanguard New York City, where Bitcoin stock, though unpredictable, hit record highs on Wall Street this year, in which the incoming mayor, blah, 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 don't care. But the surge of activity has also prompted a growing outcry over the amount of electricity and pollution involved in mining. Again, we have climate concerns, and they're understandable. Just got to find that middle ground. So in the Finger Lakes region, a former coal plant on pristine Cecina Lake has been converted into a Greenwich generation natural gas burning plant, which now powers Bitcoin mining on site. Near Buffalo, Bitcoin company is seeking cheaper electricity by taking over a part-time gas-fired power plant and revving it up for round-the-clock use. Plants that buy renewable energy from the grid have also drawn complaints, since a large Bitcoin mining plant can use more electricity than most cities in the state. Environmentalists warn that crypto mining will leave other areas dependent on fossil fuels power. The plant operating, though, northeast of Niagara Falls this month in Somerset, New York, is part of a $550 million project by TeraWulf, a Bitcoin mining company. The project also includes a proposed 150 megawatt data center at a former coal plant near Lake Cayuga in the Finger Lakes. So a lot of the companies obviously looking for, that's just really pretty, man, looking to kind of expand and use these renewable resources or the infrastructure that's already there that runs off of hydropower or what have you, and turn that into Bitcoin mining facilities. But obviously they're going to have to comply with whatever local regulations and stuff like that. The growth of the mining in the US is actually very, very nice to see. Matter of fact, if we go to miningpoolstats.stream, I believe much of the Ethereum mining and much of the Bitcoin mining, for that fact, is here in the States now. No longer primarily controlled by Asia or anything like that. Checking my work real quick, and then we'll look at your chats or anything like that if you have any. All right, so very interesting news. Now, this one is going to be very happy for all of us, and I'm going to check your questions right now. But Congress, new U.S. Congress bill could ban bots used to purchase consoles, and I'm really hoping that leans more into any tech, right? I don't care if they focus on, LeBron James shoes or anything like that. They can go back to whatever they were doing before, botting shoes and shirts and merchandise from prominent athletes. But as far as the gaming consoles, GPUs, CPUs, memory, I really hope that they're able to crack down and actually make a dent in the situation that we're dealing with here. So let's see here. Any questions? Do people realize, Paul asked, do people realize that generated power has to be used when it's generated? They don't store it somewhere. Batteries are kind of garbage tech. And batteries, too, are not so easily recyclable. The best way to recycle batteries is to heat them up to really hot. And you're going to have to deal with all those harmful chemicals that come about once you heat that big pile of batteries. So I agree. When the power is generated, it's got to be used up. And it can kind of make it more stable. Same thing with your mining rig, right? If you have, say, for example, you have a mining rig that's drawing more power than your power supply can handle, and there's a lot of V-droop, right? A lot of droop in the voltage, right? Instead of being more consistent, you ever heard of load line calibration or load line, where when you're overclocking your CPU, if you have a lot of drooping or voltage spikes, that can actually cause instability issues with your CPU overclock, GPU overclock, whatever it may be. So by having it more closer to a steady state with these small spikes, which there will be small spikes, you're making the power grid more stable, but you're making your equipment more stable as well. So yeah, Paul, the energy has to be utilized once it's generated, rather than just going to waste. And you can't. There's ways to store energy, but it's not economical on a mass scale for these power plants. I could be wrong, and if there's a power plant technician that watches these videos, please let me know. Hit me up. I'll be interested to talk to you and see how the power companies, generate their power. Do they store it? Where they store it? How they store it? Stuff like that for in demand. Otherwise, what happens is when there's a high demand situation, even if most of the city is running off of renewable resources, right? Solar, hydro, whatever, wind. When there's a high demand spike, then they have to kick on the coal burning plants or the fossil fuel burning plants, which brings up that discussion again. Alon, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Hexacorn, excuse me. What noise are you talking about? The noise of mining? My girlfriend hates that noise. What noise are you talking about? Let me know. Soccer is okay. Your face is okay. You guys are being silly. Didn't realize I was like 5 minutes behind. Start noise. Oh, you're talking about mining rigs starting up? So I actually upgraded my battery in my car to a anti-gravity battery. I have a video for that. I just haven't published it because this channel is not. I'll probably put it on the other channel, SerpentX Media. But yeah, that is not a lead acid battery. and it's lithium, and it has the restart technology on it, which is really cool. Anyways, getting back to this, you know, PS5s, Xbox were plagued with bots just like the GPU market was. With Congress trying to take actions, it's called the Stop. What is it called? The bill dubbed the Stop Grinch Bots Act. What's the actual name of the act though? Is it really? Is that really what they're calling it? The Stop Grinch Bots Act? Dude, I should have put a picture of the Grinch on my thumbnail. Dang it. I didn't know that. All right. So, anyways, you know, we got Representative Paul Tonko, Senator Richard, I'm going to butcher these names, Blumenthal, Senator Majority Leader Charles Schumer, Senator Ben Ray Lejeune. In a statement about the recently introduced bill, they said Grinch bots are forcing Americans to pay exorbitant prices for gifts this holiday. Makes me mad. I had to pay $800 for my son's PS5. Shut up. Only second to sneakers, the market has been heavily influenced by bots for years. Consoles are likely what bots are targeting most of the season, with the release of the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S consoles still fresh. It's been more challenging than ever to nab one of these new-gen consoles at an MSRP. That's because the second these consoles go live, would-be buyers must beat out bots that automatically place consoles in someone's cart and checks it out. You guys know what the bots are all about. Nothing new. Will this bill help out? I don't freaking know. It would be nice. I know a number of people that do use bots. I don't personally like to use it because it's a moral judgment thing. But it can be beneficial, especially if you're just one person trying to nab one GPU at one specific launch. Now, if you're using it to buy 50, 60, 80 GPUs all at once just so you can resell it at a higher value, I don't like. I understand, hey, it's a free market. Make your money, honey. I understand it. I respect the hustle. At the same time, you're screwing a lot of the regular users. Moving on, Sapphire, we talked about this previously in a Caffeine and Crypto episode, but Sapphire is allegedly selling custom crypto mining AMD GPUs direct to miners. I have not personally seen this. I even checked Alibaba. If you find it, I need to know in Discord, maybe tweet it at me or whatever, the link. I'd be interested to test this out. Now, these GPUs from Sapphire are specifically labeled G Pro X080 and G Pro X060 with roughly the same performance as, I guess, a 6700 XT, maybe a little bit less. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's got 2304 streaming processors, 36 compute units, which is in line with a 5700 XT. It's got 10 gigabytes of GDDR6, 16 gigabit per second memory, and wait, is that the bus? 160-bit? Oh, that's a huge handicap. I thought it was 192. Hang on one second. So by default, it can hit 38.05 mega hash at 165 watts. Obviously, we can tune that card, and it'd be 41.6 at 93 watts. So it's almost like a 5600 XT, or 57. No, it's a 5600 XT or a 6600 XT basically, because you could get that power draw, probably the 90, maybe 80 watts or something like that, and still get 40 mega hash. Pretty interesting because, you know, we've seen that with the 2060 that we're expecting to come out, the 2060 12 gig that Son of a Tech was just talking about. But I'm very confused as to what the actual bus is and why they chose 160-bit. It features 8 gigabytes. So this is the, all right, so the G Pro X060 has 1792 streaming processors, memory that goes up to 14 gigabit per second instead of 16, features 8 gigabytes of GDDR6, only a 128-bit interface. Why are you handicapping these cards like that, guys? So that's around 30 mega hash, TDP of 100 watts. So basically a 580, a 50, 570, 590 range of card is basically what the X060 is, while the X080 is kind of like a 5600 XT modded, or 6700 XT, a little bit less than the 6700 XT. And it's really because they handicap the cards pretty badly, actually. But see, this one says 128-bit. What is the actual bus width? That's what I want to know. One says 160. Yeah, so 160 on the X080 and 128 on the X060. So that really handicaps the performance or locks down. So AMD is locking down these GPUs with the bus instead of using whatever LHR technology or BIOS locking Nvidia is trying to do. But I'd be very interested to test out one of these GPUs if anybody knows where to grab one or can point me in the right direction. I won't be able to get it right now because I'm in money-saving mode like most of us are because, you know, Christmas is expensive. But definitely hit me up on Discord or shoot me a link on Twitter. I can't get back to everybody, but if you ask any questions in the Discord, I'll try to get to you. Just got to make sure you tag me. There is an Ask Serpent section, kind of like an Ask GN section in there. Getting ready to wrap up the stream here, though. Something I want you guys to keep an eye on is January 4th. January 4th, we have CES, right? CES 2022, and Nvidia is going to make an announcement, but also Intel is going to make an announcement that day. I don't suspect the GPUs, the Intel GPUs, the Arc Alchemist GPUs to actually release on that day, but we should get more information, the finalized specifications, and possible release date later in Q1 of 2022, maybe early Q2 2022 of the Intel GPUs. Very interesting to see how things pan out. We're probably going to get the Arc Alchemist Mobile first, maybe towards the earlier part of Q1, and then the desktop variants to the later part of Q1. But then we also have, you know, Nvidia announcing a 3090 Ti, the 3080 12 gig version, which Son of a Tech talked about previously. Hey, Red Llama, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate that. We got the 3070 Ti, 16 gigabytes. And I don't understand, the more memory doesn't really help unless they modify the bandwidth, the bus, and the memory transfer rate. So really, those are the key things that you should be looking at. And usually based off of that information and kind of the previous gen architecture. Like I could tell what the 6000 series of AMD was going to run hash rate wise by utilizing the what I know from the previous 5000 series, and then just having the memory bus, the bandwidth, the 16 gigabit per second memory transfer rate and stuff like that. So Nvidia just adding more memory doesn't really help mining unless they do something different. And for example, the memory bus bandwidth is increased, whatever it is. But obviously, Nvidia likes to lock things down, and the 2060 relaunch is not really impressing me. You can just get a regular 2060 and get close to the same hash rate. Unless something is a little bit different, I don't see it being like, so 31.65 is only what, 3-4 mega hash above what the regular 2060 can do. So it's not really, especially when they say it's gonna make miners happy or whatever. I think it's really for gamers, because gaming right now is taking more modern games are taking more memory than, like Resident Evil, right? You can use a lot of memory on that system or on that game. So yeah, the 2060 30 mega hash, 120 watts. So maybe it's more efficient. There you go. So it's more efficient, but it's not really a wow factor. So I think the 12 gigabytes is more substantial, not so much for mining. The increased memory is not great for mining. But it would be great for gaming, for games that you want to run at 1440p, 4K, Resident Evil with a lot of detail, whatever, Tomb Raider with a lot of detail. That's where the extra memory can come in very handy. Because I really don't think 6 gigs is enough in today's modern era, which is leading to this article that Son of a Tech also went over. He went over a lot of articles that I had lined up, but we're on the same page, which is good. So you should all be familiar with what's coming down the pipeline. We got Gigabyte leaking some information. So we got a RTX 3080 12 gig. We got a 3070 Ti 16 gig. And I suspect they're going to be LHR cards, unfortunately, guys. So I don't see Nvidia taking away LHR just yet. What I was hoping for, though, as we're getting ready to wrap up things here, what I was hoping for, if you have any last minute questions, post it now because we're getting ready to wrap up, 5 minutes. What I was hoping for though is, you know, through T-Rex miner, MB miner, G miner, all of them kind of unlocking the performance of these LHR cards, that Nvidia would just be like, okay, well, we're not going to win. The miners, the devs, the community is always going to find a way to supersede whatever locks or measures we have on there, and we're just not going to win. So why bother? Like, if it's taking up more time, more engineering time, more resources to implement the LHR on these GPUs, and it's not just done at a driver level, which is what I suspect ever since they did a V2 of the 3060 when we previous unlocked it. I was hoping that they would just stop trying to do that, but that may not be the case, which is why the 3070 Ti 16 gig, the 3080 12 gig is probably going to be LHR. And then of course we got the 6500 XT, how that's going to perform. I'm very interested in that. But we should get, you know, it's only a 4 gig card, so you're not going to be able to mine Ethereum with it, but you can mine other cryptocurrencies with it. Is it more efficient? You know, is it really good? Who's to say? Honestly, we really need to, as miners, I know we want to get all the GPUs and have, you know, 6 GPU, 8 GPU rigs built out of one specific GPU, but, you know, I'm completely cool with building up my supply over time and just swapping out GPUs as I upgrade, leaving some for the gamers so that way they can stop being whiny about it, which I understand why they're whiny, because I'm in the same boat, because I don't have a bot and I can't get GPUs. So been mining on Hivon, and you're going to see a video tomorrow where I'm talking about this specifically. If you want to find out what this specifically is, make sure you get subscribed and hit the notification bell to keep up with the channel. As I mentioned earlier, I left for the weekend. You guys screwed the market. It's your fault. I'm joking. The market took a big dropped 40% from its all-time high. A lot of people just got liquidated is what happened. A big sell order went in, and then positions were liquidated, option expiry, all that good stuff, and it was just a snowball effect going down and down. Brought the market down, so I couldn't use my crypto to pay for any of the event stuff that I wanted to do, but I had a really great time checking out Nitro Rally, watching Travis Pastrana, Scott Speed, Tanner Faust, and many of the other great rally drivers from all across the world here in Florida, which is not often, especially in North Florida. It's usually in Miami, Tampa, something like that. So it was really great to have it close to home. Had a good time with the friends and stuff. So I thank you for everybody in the crypto community that's been hanging out. Came over from Son of a Tech. Let's see here. Hexacorn, what's up with the low spec cards getting more memory than the higher spec ones? I think it's just because, again, so the higher spec cards are going to be priced higher, right? So like the 3080, 3070 Ti, 3070, those are going to be priced higher because of current market conditions. By introducing a lower spec card, we can kind of target that mid to low entry level range, and that can allow gamers to get these GPUs and actually have them. They may not be as interesting to us as in the mining perspective, but it'd be very interesting. Wow, that was a weird flicker. It'd be very interesting to the gamers. So I think that's why. Plus, Nvidia is being lazy, right? AMD's done it for years. You know, we had the 470, 480, then the 570, 580, then the 590. I mean, like, I don't know how many years, well, we know how many years they've repeated that cycle, but if I produce a 3090 and it doesn't meet specs, I can cut that 3090 down and produce a 3080 Ti, a 3080. You know, if I produce a 3070 Ti and it doesn't meet the specs we need, you know, can we cut it down, add some more memory modules, and sell it as XYZ GPU? So I think they're just recycling GPUs parts, especially since the market is so crazy right now. They're taking advantage of a high demand, low supply situation. They know that they can sell these cards in the current market conditions, and they're just taking advantage of it and utilizing whatever scraps or whatever was left over from their process that didn't meet the final cut. That's my take on it. Make sure you follow my buddy Moore's Law is Dead. I say he's my buddy, but we don't know each other personally. Really good guy. Somebody that's more in the tech space, not so much in the mining space. He used to mine, but very knowledgeable, always giving us good leaks and information. So yeah. Yeah, I'm glad 3Fox that BTC and alts are up today, and we'll see how things pan out in the long run. As I always say, stack them sats. Don't worry about if the market crashes, because cryptocurrency blockchain is here to stay, guys. Not all 15,000 plus cryptocurrencies are something I would invest in. And there's so many of them from when I started to now. There's just crazy. 15,323 cryptos. And that's just on CoinMarketCap. There's more that aren't listed on CoinMarketCap. Not all of those are going to be good coins that you should invest in, or mine. But if you research the projects, you could wind up picking out a really good one. You could wind up making good. So just keep stacking them sats. Don't get discouraged. I've been through a number of bear markets. I'm not worried in the least. So anyways, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. More memory is just marketing. Okay, Paul was just commenting on the GPUs. All right, yeah. So anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me during this live stream. Kind of random. I won't be able to do this every single time because I do work during the daytime. But stay tuned for my normal content Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then live streams Saturdays for Caffeine and Crypto. I may not do one towards Christmas, but we'll just have to wait and see. I thank you for all of your support. If you're new to the channel, please do me a favor on the way out. Hit the like button. Don't forget to get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date with what's going on, as well as check out some of the links in the description to help support us and what we do here. You all have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. I'll catch you next one.